New this morning, two people are seriously hurt after a car-motorcycle crash in South Fargo, and the North Dakota Highway Patrol indicates charges may be coming. The motorcycle driver was on University Drive near 47th Avenue around 8 last night when he hit the front of a car pulling out onto University. The motorcycle driver and his passenger are listed in stable condition this morning. A 16-year-old driver of the car and her 12-year-old passenger were not hurt. A West Fargo man is in jail accused of breaking into a home in South Fargo. Police were called to the 1500 block of 7th Avenue South right around 7 last night on a report of a burglary initially at an abandoned house. As officers were on their way, they got another call about someone breaking into an occupied home just a few blocks away. Police then set up a perimeter after the guy ran out of the house. They then found 29-year-old Brandon Peterson hiding nearby. He's now in jail for trespassing and an unrelated warrant. New this morning, the State Patrol is now identifying a man who was hit and killed by a semi while standing in the middle of a highway in central Minnesota. The troopers say 34-year-old Jacob Merges of Cokato died around 2 yesterday morning when he was hit by the truck. A semi driver pulling a grain hopper trailer was on Highway 12 west of the Twin Cities with lights activated when he came upon a pedestrian standing in the lane directly in the path of his vehicle. The State Patrol says the driver hit the brakes and tried to swerve out of the way, but ended up hitting the man. It is now 6:53 on this Thursday morning. Also, a first alert weather day. Lisa Green lets us know how it could impact your day.
Good morning. Maybe it's already impacted some of us in the valley. We saw severe weather overnight last night and into the early morning hours. We've been tracking those storms. They've moved off to the east, but there is another round coming our way, and this is most likely to the east of us, right along our eastern communities, and from there more into Minnesota. So again, conditions are going to be unsettled here today. Here's a look at our severe risk. The slight risk, if you've been watching since yesterday, it was centered a little bit more over some of our eastern counties. It's been pushed east. The forecast models indicating that the storms may not fire until they are right along the edge of our viewing area and points east from there. So if that happens, we may luck out and miss out on, I know we want the rain, but severe weather, of course, never welcome. But there are still areas in the deeper green here. This is that marginal risk that we're still looking at the potential for severe storms. So this is something, if you're in that area today, you're going to want to be watching closely. But we all have a chance for some rain or some isolated thunder showers leading up to that, just not necessarily severe. And we're seeing some of that right up along the Canadian border. In our viewing area, it's on the North Dakota side, some showers right along the Towner County, Cavalier, now Pembina County areas, and that is making its way east-northeastward here this morning. The rest of us seeing some cloud cover over in the Devil's Lake Basin, over toward Grand Forks. We have a few clouds as we're looking outside right now toward the east. Over by the airport in Grand Forks, we've had some reports of some fog. We'll take a look at that coming up here. But temperature there, 50 degrees with a little bit of fog again being reported. Fargo's at 62, Langdon's at 52, and Fergus Falls, one of our warm spots, at 63. So a range of temperatures, all thanks to a cold front that is going to be the focus for those storms today. Here's a look at those visibility reports. At the airport in Grand Forks, a half-mile visibility, still at 0 in Valley City. So it's been like that all morning long. Up toward Roseau, we're looking at visibility that's less than a mile, and some issues with fog leading into the early morning hours. But I think once we start to see more and more of that sunshine and temperatures rising, that'll improve. Otherwise, mostly sunny to partly cloudy to start the day today to head out to the bus stop. As we head home, we're looking at that potential for some storms in the east. The kids in places like Bemidji, into Park Rapids, you're going to want to watch even more closely for that chance for severe weather. So we'll continue to track that through the day today. You can always check that Valley News Live weather app for the latest radar too. Sounds great. Thank you, Lisa.
A former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd is scheduled for arraignment today for allegedly violating the civil rights of a teenager in a separate case that involved a restraint similar to the one that used on Floyd.
An indictment against Derek Chauvin alleges he used unreasonable force when he held the teen by the throat, hit him in the head with a flashlight, and held his knee on the boy's neck and upper back while he was prone, handcuffed, and not resisting. In that 2017 police report, Chauvin wrote that the teenager resisted arrest and that he used his body weight to pin him to the floor. West Fargo Assistant Police Chief Jerry Boyer is stepping down from his position October 1st. But police are not yet saying anything about his departure.
Earlier this month, Boyer was placed on paid administrative leave for an undisclosed reason. An internal investigation is still underway. A pickup pulling a camper has serious damage after it crashed into a train in Berthold, North Dakota. The police department posted about that accident last night.
Authorities say it happened just west of the city along Highway 2. As you can see in the pictures, there's a lot of damage there. No word yet on any injuries or if the cleanup is complete. If you're heading to an airport this week, you might see more officers and canines on hand. The Transportation Security Administration says it's boosting security at some airports in advance of Saturday's Justice for J6 rally in Washington.
While the TSA says it will be keeping close watch and it will be positioned to deploy if any tensions erupt. Inside the nation's capital, the protesters there are rallying in support of those involved with the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. A new study is raising questions about the accuracy of the reported number of COVID hospitalizations in the country.
Yeah, one study conducted by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco found between 40 and 45% of the pediatric hospitalizations were patients admitted for other health reasons, such as cancer. But an infectious disease physician for Sanford Health in Fargo says it's not uncommon for people who test positive for coronavirus at the hospital to first be admitted for reasons other than the virus. Here's a heads up for your morning commute through downtown Moorhead. It started at 5 this morning. Moorhead Fire is hosting a large hazmat team training session at its main station right along First Avenue North.
Yeah, it's happening right now. You'll see a large number of vehicles from the city of Moorhead, the Minnesota Civil Support Team, Sanford Ambulance, and the FBI. That training's scheduled to go until 5 this evening. United Way is fighting back against food insecurity in our community. And for every meal sold today at their Gobble Up event, it goes to help a family in need.
The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live this morning with more on how you can help. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Dorothy. Lisa, that's exactly right. One of these meals that you purchased is going to help a family in need. And thank you so much, Tiffany McShane, for being here with me early this morning. So as we're talking about the meal, what are people going to be getting when they decide to get these meals, and how is it going to help? And I'll definitely take a bite while you're talking about it.
That's awesome. We've got lunch covered for the community today. If you stop by any of the local Hornbachers, you can pick up for a suggested $5 a hot turkey sandwich on a Hornbacher's bun, as you can see here, some Old Dutch potato chips. You can wrap up lunch with a Kemp's vanilla ice cream cup, which everyone loves, especially the kids that stop by. And then, of course, we'll have beverages covered for you as well with Aquafina and Pepsi products today.
It sounds like absolutely great.
How was it?
It was really good. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. And of course, thank you for being here with me this morning. And anyone who's interested can come to any of the 8 Hornbachers to get your meal between 11 and 1 today. Dorothy, Lisa, we're going to toss it back to you. I'm going to continue to enjoy the sandwich because I only got one bite so far.
Breakfast of champions there. Lunch a little early.
Yep,
that works for our
right.
schedule anyway.
Thank you, Brian. Let's get the answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question today is: the survey asked people to name their top outdoor activity that makes them feel like a kid again.
The answer, fishing. And that makes sense, especially around here for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, the Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. More live, up-to-the-minute news and weather right now on the Fargo CW.